Now, between Christ being whipped and the time he went to be crucified, Pilate tried again. So we're going to talk about what happened here. Manipulators show a lack of empathy and mercy. John 19, 1-6. Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scourged him. And the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put on him a purple robe and said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands. Pilate therefore went forth again, and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man! When the chief priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him! Crucify him! Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. Zero empathy. Pilate had the Lord whipped. Probably, and we can't prove this, but it's probably the 39 lashes, as it was thought that 40 would kill a man. The soldiers even took additional liberties with him, pushing a crown of thorns into his brow, putting a robe on his horribly bleeding back after being whipped, and punching him. All the Jewish leadership here could see was their law, a law they themselves regularly perverted at their convenience. John 19, verse 7, the Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. And by the way, how come these Pharisees recognize what Jesus was saying, and many people who claim to follow him will still deny his deity? I'll never understand that. But at any rate, back to what we're talking about. Jesus, who did nothing but point out their refusal to truly obey God and called them to repentance, was standing there losing blood with a robe on his shredded back. Have you ever tried to put on a piece of clothing when you have a gash, a fresh gash on you? It hurts. So here he is bleeding from that, and he has a crown of thorns shoved into his head, and all they could see was law. This kind of person that the Pharisees were being is the boss who fires anyone he doesn't like for any reason he sees fit. It's the principal who tells a physically handicapped person that he can no longer request or make deals for rights to work from other teachers. Yeah, that's happened. They expect empathy out of you. They'll try to tug at your heartstrings, but they have none of their own. YouTube is replete with manipulation stories where people will say things like, I'm going to tell my son you're ruining his birthday, in order to get something that they want. I had a roommate who insisted all the bills get paid in my name. Now, I didn't see a problem with it at first because we were roommates. I had no issue. As long as the bills got paid, I was fine. Well, then I moved out. And he decided to move somewhere else as well. And he wanted me to transfer the power and the water in my name to his new place. And I wasn't really his friend if I didn't do this. Because apparently he owed them money and he would have had to pay it plus a big deposit to get it turned on in his name. So he blew it, I said no, and everything was my fault.